Why does having a crush make you temporarily
Delusional.
insane? And then not only that, the fact that when they text you, you feel so cocky and you feel so confident. And then the moment you respond, you feel powerless.
Because it's not a crush, it's a validation addiction. You're chasing the validation of someone you think has more value than you, which means you're looking for your own value in another person. Once they text you, you feel valuable. You got the validation. Once you texting them, you wonder, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Do they still see me as worthy? Because then I can see myself as worthy because I think they better than me. But you don't have the same feelings if you text someone who you don't think has higher value than you. Then you don't care if they text you or not. What you having is not a crush, it's an emotional addiction. It's literally an addiction. Think about it. You get the drug, the validation, the high, then you get the withdrawal, where the ball is in their court and you waiting, feeling uncertain, thinking about how you can make them like you. And then once the text comes again, drug, validation, I am the king of the world.
Just waiting for that text power back. What is it with texting and responding? Wait and wait. I'm like, I have the power if I don't respond.
You have the power if you don't respond. It's about having the control. It's a power game. It's not two people caring about each other. It's two people fighting for feelings. It's a power struggle, but it's not even real power because you make your worthiness dependent on how another person reacts to your texts. So you are a slave to the other person's behavior.
I have the power if I don't respond.
No,
and instead I respond, I feel
hard.
so weak and not
I feel that so hard, especially right now. Every time he texts me, I feel like the fucking woman. I feel powerful, okay? I respond.
I hate having a crush.
Respond. Nothing for a long time, and I feel so dumb.
Yeah. So dumb. You feel dumb. And then you feel like, okay, he's never going to text me back.
Now, I just gave you Crush Psychology 101. But if intellectual entertainment is not enough for you, and you actually want to learn right now how to break those patterns and have healthier relationships, stay tuned. The reason you created that crush is because of how the algorithm of the brain works. The brain cares about what you engage with your focus, specifically what thoughts and emotions you engage with. And the more you engage with your focus with certain thoughts and emotions, the more thoughts and emotions the brain gives you. Let's say you meet a person and for some reason you are attracted to that person. There are factual reasons why you're attracted to that person, but we don't get into that now because that's not the topic of the video. But just mind, you can be attracted to a person based on traumatic patterns from the past, and that's why you always chase toxic relationships. Because of your attraction, you start to, with your focus, put time and energy in thinking about that person, which your brain then is like, oh, you love thinking about that person. Let me give you more thoughts to think about that person. And if you are reactive, which means you identify with all the thoughts and you keep talking back to the brain, to the thoughts, the brain's like, oh my God, you love this. Let me give you more thoughts and more thoughts and more thoughts. And the brain gives you constantly obsessive thoughts about the person, which then if you're not purposeful with your focus, but constantly react back to it, you create, or better, your brain creates for you an entire warped reality that you're then looking through. In addition, both of you play power games, which means both of you pretend like you don't care as much about the other person, which creates the emotion of uncertainty in both of you guys, which you again react to. And then the brain's like, oh, you love this feeling of uncertainty because you do a lot of behaviors with your focus around it. You keep checking their Instagram and their stories to see what they're doing so you can have control. You must love this feeling of insecurity and uncertainty. Let me give you more of that into your heart right here so you can do your favorite thing, which is more behaviors and more power games. And then an entire emotional cocktail is created, which we call an emotional addiction. And this emotional addiction, most people mistake for love. And since she does behavior with her phone to chase validation of the other person because she wants to get that text back, her brain is like, oh, you love this game of chasing validation of another person? I'm your best friend, the brain. I want to support you in chasing even more validation from another person. So I know I'm going to give you more emotions of insecurity, more emotions of not being good enough, more emotions of not being worthy, because then you can chase more validation of another person. Both people are slaves to the algorithm they created because of complete reactivity. They don't use their focus proactively to show their brain what they care about in a healthy way. The brain gives them the worries and the uncertainty and the fear that the other person leaves them, and they just react to it and constantly talk back and keep feeding the algorithm. Now the brain automatically, without you doing anything, when you wake up in the morning, already gives you thoughts and emotions. Emotions like excessive anxiety or jealousy, thoughts of, oh, what are they doing? How can I make them love me more? There is a way out. And look how I don't care about the algorithm, and I make longer videos so I can give you the practice to get out. The way out and building a healthy relationship with yourself and others is with your superpower, your focus, because your focus determines the language of your brain, what your brain cares about. So instead of reactively talking back, you're going to use your focus from the beginning of the day proactively, which means unless you are with that person, you are watering the garden of your life, which means you're focusing with your focus on valued actions like physical fitness, relaxation, business/money, creative expression, and you do actions that support your life, which is going to the gym, going meditating, creative expression, maybe you play music, business/money, maybe you start a podcast. But the important thing, while you're doing it, you take your brain with you instead of spending time inside of your head about this person. You mindfully, in the moment, stay on the tasks. When you practice that moment to moment from the beginning of the day, you are changing your algorithm. By doing the things that you value, you're teaching your brain that you value yourself, and you stop chasing value in another person, which then gives you more stability in a relationship because you don't live from scarcity, you live from abundance. Now, there's so much more I want to tell you, but I want to let you know that the part of spending time outside of your head is so important instead of spending time inside of your head. And there's many tools how you can practice that from the beginning of the day. The reason why I say start from the beginning of the day is because of the beautiful word called momentum. Life is about momentum. When you sleep, momentum stops. And in the beginning of the day, when you wake up and you talk back to the thoughts and emotions, you create rumination again and you create the same algorithm again. But if you instead keep your focus outside of your head and go to the gym, you're creating a different momentum. Now, if you want to learn how to keep your focus outside of your head, I wrote a book called the Emotional Fitness Book. In my book, there's so many tools like the no-brain method or the cognitive diffusion, which is learning how to separate yourself from your thoughts and emotions. so you can practically change your brain instead of just learning information that don't help you to practically change. It's exactly like the gym. You can only grow when you practice. If you want to get my book, go to the link in my bio.